So, I know it's only day 2, but it's been a pretty chill week. We just happened to have a lot of free time this week. Yesterday, after church, we went to Chinatown. A lot of girls in the group had wanted to go to the Chinese New Year parade, but we missed it because we didn't realize that it was at 10 o'clock, aka during church. But we still went afterwards to get lunch. One of the things they do is the dragon that they have in the parade will go around to each of the restaurants, and the owners have to feed it cabbage so they can have like good luck and good business for the next year. And they were still doing that while we were there. And while we were looking at the menu and pricing, the dragon came up. And so we got to see the whole cabbage ceremony thing. The restaurants were so packed that even though we went to Chinatown, we ended up at a Thai restaurant. Kind of hung out and attempted homework. Then today, we just had one class, read New Testament, and unfortunately, even though that professor is really good, I was nearly falling asleep so many times because everyone in my room got so little sleep. Actually, just lost track of time and ended up staying up until almost 1 in the morning. And then on top of that, the hotel is right next to a pub. And it's the weekend, so everyone's out drinking, and our room is on the first floor. Every weekend, we will hear a bunch of drunk people walking past our window and yelling at like 2 in the morning when we're trying to sleep. I am doing such a bad job on like the 31 days of writing. I am already 3 days behind, and it really isn't that far into the challenge. Work is a priority tonight though, so if I do have any time before bed after finishing it, I will try to squeeze in today's challenge. I also want to get some reading in. I finished The Book Thief last week. Really excited to start a study in Charlotte. Just really excited about finally getting to read another book. So it is Wednesday. It's been a pretty chill week, actually, compared to the ones we've had and the ones that are coming up. We're going through a big transition time, so I'm glad for that. Today is actually when we move into homestay. We will be staying with British families for a month, and then for the last month of the program, we're coming back to the hotel. Moving today, I'm almost unpacking, but the family's not picking me and my roommate up from the tube station until 4, so I have most of the day to get things done. I think it's just going to be like another chill, relaxed day. Yesterday was kind of rough. It was a busy day, and we had 2 really long classes, and pretty much everywhere we went, there were huge crowds. When we went to the National Portrait Gallery for art class, it was really crowded, and at some point we ended up in a really small room with a lot of people. It was like 30 people all in a small room. And we went to Primark to look for something cute to wear to the Valentine's Day concert we're going to as like an orchestra thing. That place was really crowded. Chinatown for takeaway, crowded. The Tube, the streets, just because it was around the time people were getting off of work. I didn't necessarily get super anxious, although crowds do tend to trigger my anxiety. It was nowhere near as much as usual, but it was still overwhelming. So I just spent the rest of the night packing and trying to recover some. I just started a new book this week since I finished The Book Thief last week. I started A Study in Charlotte by Brittany Caballero, like a contemporary rendition of the original very first Sherlock Holmes story, A Study in Scarlet. The descendants of Watson and Holmes end up going to the same boarding school. After a fellow student is murdered, they have to solve the mystery and help clear their names because they are being blamed for the crime. As of last night, I am on page 136, and so far I really like it. It's fairly fast-paced, and the characters are starting to grow on me, and it's brought up some really interesting dynamics. I really love the way Charlotte Holmes is described, because it's just like, I don't know, she has like this magnetic attraction to her. And it's written in this way that like you understand why people are in awe of her and attracted to her. And I'm about to finish getting ready for the day. I'm going to pack a few last things and then I'm gonna head out. I keep seeing this ad at the tube station near our hotel for a free exhibit on the Holocaust at this research library right down the street from our hotel. Not only do I love World War history, but it's also a free exhibit, which is great. So I'm going to check that out. That's all for now. This is my homestay roomie, Morgan. For Valentine's Day, there are these people from a juice place handing out free vouchers, and we thought, why not? Because it's free. Mm-hmm. So
we're always down for free stuff.
We haven't tried them yet.
All right, so first time look. Ready?
Cheers.
Cheers. 1, 2, 3.
It's good.
Yeah, it's not bad. It took me forever to get some out. I was like, is it gummy? Mm-hmm. It is very beady though.
Yeah, I can definitely taste the carrot in mine.
Oh really? Yeah.
But it's mainly carrot and apple, I think.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
right,
Crush Juice Bar approved.
Yeah.
Everyone, so it's been a little bit. We've had a pretty busy week with moving into homestay. I am fortunate enough to be with a wonderful family, a retired couple, and they are awesome. And they paint, and they have a little painting studio in their home, and they even have some of their own paintings hanging up around the house, so that's pretty cool. They love to cook, and we've just had some really good conversations, even though it's only been a couple days. I actually get my own room here, which is a big change from sharing a hotel room probably about the same size as this bedroom with 3 other girls. It's been pretty busy. Yesterday for Valentine's Day, went to see an Arthur Miller play, The American Clock, and most of us were really confused. It was essentially plotless. Arthur Miller basically pulled from his own experiences of the Great Depression as well as other people's accounts of it, and it circles around these 3 different families and their experiences during the Great Depression, and it switches back and forth between them as the years go by. It was 3 hours long, and I was really confused and kind of bored. Actually, never read or seen an Arthur Miller play aside from the one that we saw a couple weeks back that our theater teacher adapted and directed, Enemy of the People. So far Arthur Miller hasn't really impressed me. Then we went to an orchestra event, so they were playing all these famous romantic songs and stuff, and I really enjoyed that. They had this amazing guest pianist for, I can't remember who it was. They did some really famous piano concerto, and this lady was amazing. I think she was only 26. They did Clair de Lune. I don't know why that's romantic, but they played it. I don't usually like it on the piano. It just sounds so plunky to me, but as an orchestra, it's beautiful. I loved it so much. And they did some excerpts from Carmen, Tchaikovsky's Prelude from Romeo and Juliet, Traviata. It's just really beautiful, and one of the last pieces they played had an organ part, and we were actually, our seats were like behind the orchestra, so we could see the conductor and the pianist real well. Like along that wall and like above it were the organ pipes, and the organ was like right in the middle of the aisle. They started playing the organ. It was just really cool. Today all we had was theater class. It's been interesting, but I don't really know what to expect from this professor. He's very, I guess, lax, and I don't know. Like, I'm thinking about our exam we're going to have in April, and I have no idea what we're going to be tested on. We had to do a dialogue for homework. It sounded like we would do something with it after our break midway through the class, and we didn't do anything with it today. We met with 2 people he's collaborated with to talk about like different aspects of the theater industry. The first was a woman from Poland named Natasha, and she used to be an actress, but now she does a lot of directing and producing, and we got to talk about that side of the industry as well as just being a woman in the theater industry, specifically in London. That was really neat, and the professors talked like a lot about like women in the theater industry. I say that even though it's only been the second class, but I don't know like how much it's his personal views and like what he really wants to share with us, or the fact that the whole group of students in this study abroad program are girls. It's 11 girls. So like he's trying to be relevant to us, I'm not sure. After our break, he brought in a choreographer that he has worked with a lot before, and we got to learn about that part of theater, and he actually helped choreograph a musical we're going to see in a couple weeks, another one that our professor directed, and we got to learn about the process behind how he choreographed one of the songs. Tomorrow, we are going to Oxford for the day, so I will have footage from that to share with y'all. I'm really excited. I'm excited about all the day trips, honestly. I think that's one of the best parts of the program, getting to see the parts outside of London. I guess that's all for now. is the last check-in of the week. We went on our day trip to Oxford today, and I thought I'd be able to, or what I wanted to do was like talk to y'all while I was there, but it was just so crowded and busy, and you couldn't really stop anywhere except in the stores, so that didn't really happen. Went on a tour of Oxford first thing. We went to see some of the main landmark, and we got to see the Bodleian Library, at least part of it, because I think it has 30 locations scattered throughout the city. It basically functions like our Library of Congress. We got to go inside one of the Oxford colleges. The one we went to was Balliol College. It had a really beautiful garden, and the chapel was really beautiful too. We had a good tour guide, but she did end up going like half an hour over. She pointed out all the places that were either where things were filmed in Harry Potter or served as inspiration for sets, and so that was really cool. And after the tour, we had the rest of the day to ourselves basically. A small group of us we went to the covered market, which has a bunch of independent stores, and we got lunch there, and I got a milkshake from Moo Moo's because they're supposed to be amazing. I got a hazelnut chocolate chip cookie one, and it was so good. Moo Moo's is Natalie approved. Then we just went around to a bunch of souvenir shops and browsed. I nearly got an Oxford jacket just because they're super soft and comfy and on sale when we were there, but then I was like, if/when I get a sweatshirt or something, it's probably going to be from a more memorable or favorite place, like say when we go to Scotland during our spring break tour. So I didn't get it. I was just gonna wait, and then I saw a Hufflepuff sweatshirt, and the Oxford jacket was just a want, but the Hufflepuff sweatshirt was an absolute necessity. And so I bought it. Like, I did not fret over, like, should I get this, should I not, weighing pros and cons. This is the sweatshirt that I got. As you can see, it says Hufflepuff, and it has the house crest, and it has a house motto too, just and loyal. I like to be super comfy in my sweatshirt, so I got it a size bigger than normal, so it could be a bit oversized and baggy, and I could wear it over things, and it's so soft, and I don't regret this. I actually don't really have any Harry Potter merch or clothes or anything, so I'm really glad I got this. I also picked up a few books while I was there, so I guess this is just turning into a little haul time. We went to Blackwell's bookshop while we were there. We also stopped in their art and print store, and I was very tempted to get a Matilda print. Then we went to the bookshop, and I found this big display of the Penguin Little Black books and modern classics, which are really small, and they're only £1 each, which is like about like $1.50. I ended up getting 3 of them, and I had a specific criteria. I wanted to get one book from an author that I love, one from an author that I want to read more of their works, and for the third one, I wanted it to be an author that I had never read before, and even one that I'd never even heard of before. For the favorite, I got The Vigilante by John Steinbeck. I love John Steinbeck. Of Mice and Men is one of my favorite classics, and he's one of my favorite American authors, so I knew I had to get that. For the author I wanted to read more of, I picked The Breakthrough by Daphne du Maurier. I discovered Daphne du Maurier last year when I read My Cousin Rachel and loved it, and so this year one of the things I want to do is read more of her works. And the third book I got was Cracked Looking Glass by Catherine. I'm sorry, I'm trying to like read this backwards in the camera. The Cracked Looking Glass by Catherine Ann Porter. And according to the little blurb on this, she is supposed to be one of America's finest short story writers. I've never heard of her. I even have an anthology of short stories by women writers mainly from Canada and the US, and I don't think she was in there, or maybe I just don't remember it, but I don't think I've heard of her, and so she's supposed to be one of America's finest short story writers. Might as well read it. Oxford, I'd say, was pretty satisfying. I definitely liked the other day trips we've done better, but I'm also glad that I got some souvenirs. I do wish we had gotten a little more time in Oxford. Morgan and I were trying to be on the 5 o'clock train because it's an hour ride back to the Paddington station in London, and then nearly an hour more getting back to homestay, and the family usually has dinner around 7, so we wanted to be back by then. Also, homestay update. The wife is from Iran and the husband is from Scotland. And so in Iran, one of the main languages is Farsi. So that's her native language. And the husband is currently taking Farsi lessons so he can learn her native language. And I just think that's like the sweetest thing ever. The wife is also learning to play piano. We hear her sometimes when we're coming in. She also does a Tai Chi group in the mornings, and Morgan and I are thinking to go with her to the group one morning when we don't have classes until the afternoon. But yeah, this is the end of the 4th week. I can't believe I've been here for a whole month. That's absolutely insane. It doesn't feel like I've been here for a month. But yeah, that's all for this week's vlog. Hope y'all are enjoying your time wherever you are in the world and having great adventures of your own.